celebrations and the emotion. Bayern will receive the Meisterschale, and then they'll allow Thomas Müller to take his Munich bow for the last time. And Thomas Müller active already on that right-hand side.
A mixture between experience and some young prospects.
Kimmich. Olise has been a roaring success in his first Bayern campaign. He's the leader in the league when it comes to assists. Olise demanding the ball again. Has to get it onto his left foot whenever he can. Rafael Guerreiro. And again with Michael Olise. Kingsley Coman. And the errant challenge coming in from Stefan Lainer.
Just a little collision there. Lainer didn't mean to, but ran into the legs of Kingsley Coman. He stepped on his foot, actually. But it is hard to tell where Kingsley Coman is going with all these little quick hooks and turns that he does all the time.
It's been a trouble-torn season for Jonas Omlin, Gladbach keeper. In by Olise. Away by Robin Hack. Olise.
It's so impressive that Bayern always manages early in games to really develop that power play.
Müller and a tantalising ball. Goretzka was right on the doorstep.
Good cross there from Thomas Müller. I think Goretzka had the feeling that he was held back a little bit there from Chiarodia. Maybe had a chance to get to that.
Now, Lainer wasn't picked up. Stefan Lainer trying to fit it in, and Neuer really had work to do. It was devilishly difficult as it was played in there by Lainer.
Yeah, I don't think Stefan Lainer went on target here. Not that he tried, at least. I think he was looking for Tim Kleindienst, who is a big threat, of course, when it comes to being on the other end of crosses. But Manuel Neuer, it seems like, hasn't lost his touch and awareness of things.
Honora at the ready, and well, they were looking for.
But across, it's a good idea.
Robin Hack, Kleindienst. Moved out to the left, Philipp Zander, and Hack is there. That delicate chip put away by Guerreiro for Bayern with the alarm bells ringing.
It's Gladbach here trying to be the party poopers early in this game. That was a close call, but probably a right one to call this no offside. And then Hack lobbed this one into the center, and instead of trying something for himself, but Robbo Reitz couldn't get to that ball.
Will again be Franck Honora for the Gladbacher. Neuer wasn't sure, and Hack leaning back.
Positions that he can play, but he does it really without.
Here's Kane trying to find the angle. Nico Elvedi for company. And Kimmich with the turn, managed to get it in. Chiarodia initially with a header, and then Honora's turn. Finally nodded out of there. Zander, who was the auxiliary defender. Olise in the general direction of Thomas Müller. And through it goes, and 13 minutes up.
Yeah, many are talking about that at least one of those wingers of Bayern Munich also has to leave. And that's Leroy Sané, who the club thought they had him signed already or re-signed, but it could still be Leroy Sané, of course, Kingsley Coman or Serge Gnabry.
To cut in field. Lima. Olise. Michael Olise to the back post where Harry Kane had positioned himself.
Yeah, but Lainer was there to disturb him just enough so he can get more power behind.
And Kiefer. here in the Bavarian capital. And a good time was had by all. Kimmich and Guerreiro. Kimmich trying to make the connection with Rafael Guerreiro.
Yeah, and that is one of his big qualities of Rafa Guerreiro. He will find these little gaps in the defensive line, and then no matter where he's put on the pitch from the general team back then. So it's been a while, but it's always good to be back here.
And Goretzka, fabulous challenge, really stretching for it with Honorat in full stride.
Yeah, but he had to stretch all the way to get to that ball after that long run against Franck Honorat.
And it will be Honorat to take this. Kleindienst, the obvious aerial target. Plenty of movement in there. Honorat with it, looking for that head flick. Neuer had to react. Looking to swat it away. He's caught in the way of it. And now the free kick goes to Bayern with Olise on the ground, but well, Neuer called upon.
That was a great reflex. It came off his own man. For Bayern, even though it's, let's say, just the German title, no cup, not anymore in Champions League.
Here's Olise, trying to line it up! Michael Olise! He has a flair for the spectacular. Well, he loves to do that. Rather reminiscent of Arjen Robben. We say it time and again. Party night here in Munich. And that really gets the party started. Michael Olise.
Yeah, and I said it earlier, it's a kind of a reoccurring thing to isolate him on that right wing and then let him do his magic. He really, really does remind a lot of people. Oh, there was a little bit of a deflection there, was it?
Was it?
It was a certain Harry Kane.
It was a T.
It was not even a Olise goal, it was Harry Kane who opens up scoring here for Bayern Munich. But still, the development of that goal, it's a typical one for Bayern Munich this season. Oh.
Stanisic for Kane. Well, they had bodies back. They had Weigl back there as the extra defender. Gladbach. Try again, Goretzka with Coman competing for it.
That's a good chance there from Harry Kane. Julian Weigl knew what was coming and threw himself in front of it.
Konrad Laimer and Kane trying to throw himself at it. Well, he scored once already. Was in the mood for another one.
Yes, another chance for Bayern as they try to to get another goal in, and that was a diving header attempt there from Harry Kane. That's the last action before half-time, really.
Second half underway. Here at the Allianz Arena. And fired forward immediately by Jonas Omlin.
Out of that half-time with some purpose here.
Honorat and Neuer. Unaware of the lurking presence of Kleindienst. And they've won themselves another corner kick here, Borussia Mönchengladbach.
And I think it's good that Manuel Neuer got to that ball, because behind him it was Stanisic as well, but also Tim Kleindienst, and we all know how physically he can be in those situations and find a way to get to those balls.
It's going to be Robin Hack this time for Gladbach. Crowded penalty area scene. Leiner with the shot and right. He's trying to react just a few meters away from Neuer, but nothing happened in the end, nothing positive for the Gladbacher. And here's Olise. He's trying to fool Julian Weigl. Out comes the yellow card from referee Sven Jablonski. Weigl trots away from the scene of the crime.
Yeah, but Weigl was apologetic. He really stepped on that right foot of Olise and swept the other leg with his left foot. So that yellow card was
Olise wanted the ball again, got his wish, and beating Ulrich. Michael Olise going on a mazy run and stabbed towards goal with Rafael Guerreiro in position beside Thomas Müller there.
Yeah, there are two things that could have went better. First off, Thomas Müller was almost in the way of Rafa Guerreiro. That's a brilliant dribbling there from Michael Olise. And then the other thing, if you want to change something...
Fürstenfeldbruck. Just a few kilometres away. Here's Olise now for Bayern. Kimmich. And Müller was in there, and Goretzka was only too happy to have a go.
Oh, well played there. Nicely connected from the Bayern offense. And again, Thomas Müller involved in things. He always has an eye for his teammates. He knows exactly where there is some room where he can put that.
Will get me. We'll come back to that in a second as they give it here to Kleindienst. And Tim Kleindienst, it was a shot that came off Eric Dyer. And behind it goes for another Gladbach corner.
A dangerous situation here created from Gladbach. Tim Kleindienst managed to get that shot off, and it wasn't much missing, even with the deflection of Eric Dyer. But that's, and we said that earlier, what he's put on the pitch for, to stand in the way and deny these kind of things. That was a close call here for Bayern.
For the Bayern players and all the Bayern fans. Zander pushing it through. Kleindienst was trying to find the gap, but Stanisic was there to, in effect, plug that gap.
Yeah, Gladbach is not letting go of this game yet. Even though Bayern is in control, Gladbach, that Thomas Müller now has to him, or leaves open,
yeah,
I'd rather say.
Leimer, Olise, and it wasn't a bad idea for Pavlovic, having just come on to shoot.
Yeah, it's kind of hard once you come on a pitch and to score with the first.
It was Kleindienst to try to shovel it off to Hack. And that was a sore one for Ulrich. Just collapsed.
Yeah, I think he rolled his ankle there in that situation, where he tried to turn around and then collided with his own man, Kingsley Coman. We saw there was a little bit of a handball situation there. And that was the more kind of certain free kick that he was trying to improvise something and then kind of stumbled over his feet. We don't know up to now if that was planned or not.
Yeah.
But that was a funny situation around Thomas Müller as well.
Improvising very much within his gift. Thomas Müller. Outcome is a free kick here.
That was too much on his Royal Highness, Thomas Müller. Not allowed to foul.
Herr Präsident, as we saw on one of the sides earlier. Joshua Kimmich towards Leroy Sané. The outcome will be a corner conceded there by Stefan Leiner. Presentation of the Meisterschale. Farewell to Thomas Müller. Here's Sané and here's Kane. Olise and Sané with that drive, and Müller was there. Difficult angle and immediately appealing. But the decision ought to go Bayern's way.
And once again, could have been the perfect moment for Thomas Müller in front of the Südkurve.
Came up with the goal. Here's Sané and Kane and Olise. They want to give it to Müller. You can sense that is becoming ever more the main theme out there.
Yeah, it is really obvious that they're looking for him, and that was also really obvious. Too much of a body check from Leon Goretzka. Pavlovic kind of pushed Robin Hack into.
Sané and Olise. Here's Müller. Managed to win the ball, and Thomas Müller. He was determined and tried to get it on target if he could.
Yeah, also
Reitz. That raking pass, and it's a good one. Tvanchara not long on. Neuer! Yet again. His first game back, he has not missed a beat.
No, not at all. It's another great...
He was always bound to start this game. It's simply not going to be the same without him. Müller time for the final time in the Bavarian capital. A local hero with a universal platform. And a guard of honour being formed fittingly. Thomas Müller, as ever, with a broad smile etched on his face. We're brilliant.
That's him. He could appreciate greatness.
Here's Sané, and slipping it through, and Olise! It's the perfect way to end a special night from a Bayern point of view. Meisterschale night, and a goal in the last few seconds. The sound of the can-can rings out once again across the Allianz Arena. 2-0, and it will be another victory for Bayern before they receive the Meisterschale.
Yeah, great pass there from Leroy Sané, and of course a very clever finish of Michael Olise. But I have to correct you there, Derek. The perfect ending would this be Thomas Müller, then I would agree. Thomas Müller should have been on the other end of that pass of Leroy Sané, which is brilliant, exactly in the right.
Now it is final. Bayern victorious on match day 33. Thomas Müller will be able to address the Bayern fans in a few minutes from now after they've received the shot.